What's up, everybody? My name's Terminus. Welcome back to another episode of Techhnolyze. Last time in episode 16, we ended up on a standoff, kind of like we were pointing guns at the soldiers, I think, like the robot soldiers that were coming in and trying to enforce. We'll see what happens, right? Let's just get right into it. I don't want to take too long or whatnot. Not gonna yap. Let's get into it. Techhnolyze episode 17, as always. We're gonna watch the intro on like Patreon and whatnot, but on YouTube we skip it, and after that, first frame is gonna be the sync up frame. I barely stop in Techhnolyze because it just works well when I watch Techhnolyze as a whole. Sometimes I might stop. If I do, lately I've been actually bringing up like a little text box that's like pause in a few, like pause coming up or whatever, right? And then I'm bringing up a text box and then a little countdown where I'm like unpause coming up soon. So I do hope you appreciate that in the stuff that it's happening. I think I've done it in Arcane, and I've done it in like a couple of other minor things that I've been reacting to. But yeah, Techhnolyze episode 17. It's interesting. I'll make out a couple of more flashing images where I'm like, were they there before or not? But obviously we do not know, so let's fucking go. Did it me? Yeah. Sorry about that. Alright, let's fucking go. Man versus robot. Ooh. What is this camera lens? Holy shit. Love this through the windows, right? The faces half visible. That's great. Wait, since when? What? The robots have fucking heels? What? Hello? The robots are female? And Shinji is not fighting them. Or at least seemingly not, we don't know. Holy shit. He's one of the improved ones. So there are humans in there to a degree. And this part of them seems to be organic. Or at least the most vulnerable part. Interesting. Is it actually though, right? Because guerrilla warfare is very good in that it actually is decentralized. So is centralization the way to go? Okay, Shinji. He wants to protect them, right? Touch what?
ガベからの荷の受領記録はありますが。
That is horrifying, by the way. Like the stitched on the face kind of deal. Well,
クラースヒルで止められている。下がっていいぞ。
はい。
Again, the double-faced, like, weird automaton. Like a saintly statue or something. I do love this music track.
市内の医者はすべてクラスに抑えられているらしく。
広岡先生は見に行かせたものから連絡はあったのか。
さっき電信があって、うちの者が見に行った時はもう。
ドクを連れてこい。医者がいる。各事務所の整理は
おおむね終わったようです。もうすぐこちらに着くと思います。
Where are you, Shinji? Because it's not the Dragon's Den, right? Or maybe it is. And everything's just not lit up.
なんだよ。一人なのか。
俺はシェイプスとして来たんじゃねえ。
シェイプス？
春なの？なんか体変だよ。
やっぱ
And
お前
weird.
とはケリをつけなくちゃな。
春、戻っといでよ。前みたいにみんなを集めて。
もう遅え。もう戻れねえんだよ。二人とも俺の目の前から消えろ。俺は違うんだ。
Better? Are you better?
この町のゴミみてえなお前らとは。
Ooh, I love this angle. This is so cool.
俺は強くなりたかったんだ。シンジ、お前より強く。
Are you though?
お前より自由に。
Physically, you might be stronger.
挙句がそのざまかよ。なんか違うだろう。あれは。
Oh, that is brutal. That is brutal. And he didn't like doing that. What does freer than you even mean, right? What does it even mean? Is it important to be more free than somebody else? Shouldn't you measure that on your own? Shouldn't you measure that for yourself?
よかろう。なるべく早い方が。
Who are these old women?
可能か。
お久しゅうございます、お母様。
そろそろ来る頃だと思っておった。
僕のおもちゃを返してほしくて参りました。
いたずらもほどほどにしておくがよかろう。民はわらわたちの暮らしの礎。古くからの祭りごとには相応の意味がある。
分かっております。
What's your plan, my dude?
カノは小さい頃から聞かぬ子であったから。
It's very interesting. They're almost like three oracles or something. It's almost like they exist in unison as one being, right? The way they talk.
我々は自分の判断で動くしかありません。
Back with Gaba.
見たのだ。わしらには言えぬもの。
そう、会えるんだよ。楽しみだよね。
We're going to see who.
怖がったって仕方ない。もう決まってることだもの。
Who is he talking to?
なぜです。私は戦闘員ではない。兵隊を動かす立場にあってこそ組織にとって価値があるはずです。その私がなぜテクノライズを受けなければならないのですか。有効な人材を有効に配置してこそ組織というものは最大限の力を発揮するはずです。シェイプスがもっと必要なのであれば肉体的に若く私より優れた人間が大勢いるはずです。くだらないな。もういい、連れて行け。話せ。
Yeah. The problem is he isn't looking for more soldiers.
今のままいればいずれあなたも私はあなたに生き続けてほしいと思っている。
So
オルガノだと思っていた。
私にとっては生き残っていくための場所に過ぎません。
you didn't have real loyalty.
なければ生きていなかった。お前も。
私はいつもそうしてきた人間です。それは変えられない。
そうしてまで生きていたいのか。
そうしなければ生きられないんです。
Can't live at all unless you pay the full price. Not sure what that's supposed to mean. Also horrifying. Holy fuck, dude. This is how they look. What are these weird cocoon things that are in the middle of them?
諸君らの中には我々の高邁なる理想が志半ばにしてついえると感じている者がいるかもしれない。しかしそれは断じて否である。
Ooh, the Union, I think, right?
この戦いによって我々の精神はルクスの市民の魂に刻み込まれ永遠に受け継がれてゆくはずだ。
Good speech.
前にして私は諸君らに告白しておかなければならないことがある。私はかつて肉体を超える肉体を求めテクノライズに魂の救済を求めたことがあった。だがそれは誤りだった。諸君らにテクノライズを禁じ肉体の鍛錬を説いたのはそれが人の肉体ばかりでなく魂をも蝕むものであることを知っていた。
Ooh. I do wonder if, like, these scars are from his Techhnolyzation.
志を共にできないと感じた者がいるならば自由にこの場を去れ。
Most of them won't. The funny thing is, if he would have revealed it earlier, they wouldn't have stuck with him. I think.
あんなものテクノライズじゃない。人間をただの兵器にして。
They just exist to be weapons.
私のテクノライズは駆逐されたのよ。私にはもう何も残っていない。
お前は医者だ。怪我人を救える。
怪我を治したってどうせ殺されるわ。オルガノはもうダメよ。あなたはどうするの？大西と死ぬ？
俺は
Those weapons are insane. Right, the difference in firepower.
会長、連合が。
どこに行っても死ぬ。あなたはどこで死ぬの？
俺は
あなたは私の最高傑作。
Is that
でも
all
クラース
he is to you?
はそのテクノライズに何の価値も見出さない。
And why do they not see that value?
ここには俺の母親がいる。
You do.
忘れていたわ。そんな嘘。
Ooh, okay, so we know something new.
嘘なのよ。容器の中身は私が捨てたわ。
Does she want to get a reaction out of
細
him?
胞はとっくに死んでいた。許して。あの時そう言わなければ受け入れてくれなかった。
That is a strong lie, though. Right, like
許して。
a big one. She was not as self-assured as she was in the beginning. But I can't imagine what he feels in this moment, right?
壊れちゃうよ。
I do wonder if all she sees in him is a lab rat, right? An experiment. Or if there's like some human connection that she feels. Two unlikely allies. Interesting tune. Very funny. How he thought the organization was gonna play just like any other.
町の同志に見届けさせるための戦いだ。島田、この道の向こうにあるオペラハウスが奴らの本陣だ。そこまではたとえ私一人になってもたどり着く。
Fight to the end. And they share a sentiment, right? Even though they have different ideologies here. He's ripping them limb from limb. But they're at a disadvantage, of course. Ooh, that is an interesting color shift. Yeah. I guess that's it for him. No, the Union's gonna die in this. This is a crazy shot. With all the telephone lines and like the electric wires and the round globe, like that is a cool shot. And we're back in the bleak land of Doc and Lisa. I do love this consistency of like the art, with like the pillars and the archways. What are you thinking, my boy? She has completely given up. Dragonfly? So who are you going to see run? Who are you talking to? I do wonder why she's painted in red here. I mean, she's a redhead, but like her entire frame is painted in red, right? And then it slowly fades out and it becomes a purple bluish thing when she closes her eyes and everything is like more blue. Blue I kind of associate with calmness, right? And with dreams and sleeping. But yeah. Let's run it right back. I won't talk about it for long because I do believe I want to watch another episode. Well, only like 4 episodes left. Holy fucking shit. Or 5 maybe? Maybe 5. I don't know. Like 17, right? Plus 3 and 2, right? Yeah, 5. 5 episodes. Yeah, I mean, fight with the soldiers, don't have to say a lot about that. A couple of really cool shots, the way they're like being displayed. In general, I can follow the story more now, which is really cool, right? That meeting between Shinji and I forgot his name, where he's like, "You're not even worth killing" and whatnot. It's kind of like almost posturing, right? Because at this point, this is all he has left, right? That seeming air of like superiority and whatnot. But I don't know what he really wanted out of this, right? Obviously, he wanted what Shinji had, which is the affection of Yoko and maybe also like all of the men looking up to him. But the question is, where did they split and why did they split? Because as of now, I don't have any clear evidence that despite all of the men leaving at the same time and kind of splitting with their factions at the same time, I don't have any clear evidence that this is actually manipulation on the part of our blue-haired antagonist, or that it is in some way like indoctrination or brainwashing or some kind of thing happening on the back end of the Techhnolyze system. It feels more like this was, at least this is how it's being displayed by and told to us by the people of Gabe as well, and by like the general like people making like meta commentary on what's happening, like that something is happening here that has been brewing below the surface for a long time, and then it just at the same time when all of that conflict happened, when all hell break loose, and right when all hell broke loose after that initial like shockwave of all of that chaos happening in the city kind of subsided, people had the time to think and reflect, and suddenly all of these things happened, right? All of the people that split with their original faction because it was time, because this had been brewing below the surface for a long time. But it's possible that that's not the case. Also, I do wonder why they want to centralize. Very interesting, because I do feel like maybe decentralization would still be beneficial to them. But maybe the problem is that there's such an information advantage of the class and their soldiers, right? They're like their shapes. Interesting that they're called shapes as well, right? That in the end, decentralization would do them more harm than it actually helped them, and if they are centralized, they can at least, they know where everybody is and what everybody's doing and can coordinate their actions rather than being like little cells all spread across the entire city. So he's like, you all leave, you can go wherever you want. He wants obviously to protect his people, because he's like, look, I'm gonna stay here till the end, but you can maybe break out and see if you find better pastures. Maybe, who knows where fate is gonna lead you, right? And maybe, that's how I'm reading it. I don't know what Blue-haired guy is saying here, where he's like, why don't you touch it and make sure it for yourself, right? Like, apparently he's Techhnolyze talking to his sister, supposedly. Like, you're being mean, right? Yeah, it's like, you're being mean. If you're so curious, why don't you touch it and make sure for yourself? And then they get distracted. There's a delay in the procurement of weapons, although the receipt of shipment from Gabe was recorded. So Gabe is shipping weapons to the class, which is like, okay, so you're actively participating, you're just not stopping it. Right, how are you, how do you say like things happen the way they happen? I mean, maybe it's Iran directed, but I don't think so, because Iran doesn't want all of this, but she sees it as inevitable. It's possible that it's held up at Class Hill. You may go, yes sir. Interesting. Right, field hospital, and we're trying to find a doctor. Shinji just in that derelict, I think it's the building, the same building, or maybe he just went to the rooftop or to one of the destroyed parts of the building. No, this is like with the same bar and whatnot, and it got blown open like a couple of, like when Yoshi did his thing, right? Okay, that makes sense. I didn't come here as one of the shapes, right? And he's like, shapes, that's you, right? And he's like just revealing who he is and what he is at this point in time, whatever that parasite thing is, right? Like the biomass that's up in the front. Why do they, I gotta ask, why do they put it up in the front? It's vulnerable there. Like, does it have to be there? Can't they like put it somewhere else, right? Inside of the body kind of deal, so it's protected? Like, that's a clear vulnerability to happen to your body, and I guess you still have a score to settle. And she's like pleading with him, but he's like, I can't go back, and he's like shooting at her. So great point of view, by the way, like the pistol and whatnot. It's like, or a rifle. It's like, get out of sight, out of my sight, both. It's very interesting. He's like, get out of my sight, but he's like, he came to them, right? He's like, you're not even worthy. That's kind of all of this projection. Like, he wanted something out of this, right? Clearly, he wanted to have a different path, but by relinquishing himself to the people of the class, he kind of sold his soul, kind of deal, right? He sold his, like, he had things to him done as a result of that can't be taken back. So what is he now? Is he more robot than man, or is he more man than robot? Because we don't know that at this point. Now, obviously, he's still a thinking person with like emotions like everybody else, and he seems to be a relatively consistent character-wise with who he was before. But the question is, why is he acting like this, right? Why is he acting the way he's acting? Is that all just like he realizes deep down that he kind of messed up big time? Like Shinji says like a couple of seconds later when they fight, it's like, you messed up big time, dude. And he just doesn't want to see it, or rather he's like, I know I messed up, but I'm gonna, I guess, might as well just go full throttle till the end and see this through. Like, I'm different. Why are you different? Because you made a decision to relinquish yourself to somebody else? And you joined the class with the hopes of maybe becoming something more than Shinji, because you were jealous of him, because you envied what he had, which is something he couldn't give to you. I'm pretty sure like he saw you as a brother and he would have given you anything if he had the power to do so. But the admiration of like the group, like the Rakan, and the admiration of Yoko, this is something that isn't Shinji's to give or take. It is something that is given by the person who displays the admiration, right? Out of free will. And you can't just change that, right? You can force people to adhere to your own philosophies. You can like get on the winning side, I guess, right? And rule. But you're not the one ruling, right? You're just an instrument of the one who's ruling in that sense. Was it worth giving up your entire body for? Right? Or is not maybe technolizing in moderation and with the right nuance, like the doctor supposedly, at least according to her and according to what we kind of low-key see, is trying to do? Isn't that the way to go, right? Instead of replacing everything with the machine. But obviously, if you're somebody who's like just interested in what your subordinates can do for you, obviously creating weapons out of them that just follow your orders is the easiest thing to do. My question would be then, why you're not maybe just creating artificial human beings? But the reality of this could be that they just can't, because they can't like develop a somewhat positronic brain in a way, right? So they still need a brain to actually do the things, right? They still need a brain to interpret that. They still need a brain to exist there, because they can't create robots with their own brains. So that would be one explanation, I guess. Stronger than you and freer than you. Are you? You're following your master's command? And I mean, obviously you're still free enough to go there and like confront Shinji. Although the question is that what your master wanted maybe? Or is it not? But even if it's a wholly 100% personal thing, are you really free if all of this envy and all of this, like, the problems you have with yourself, right? You had with yourself. If they control you so much, are you free? Or is the person free who is like, I don't know, man, you do whatever you think is right. I support you in your decision, right? It's not on me to tell you what to do, right? If you want to follow me, I appreciate that. But you need to follow me out of your own free will, right? We're all free as we want to be. That's Shinji. That was Shinji's thing, right? I mean, obviously he wanted to lead people, right? He wanted to maybe take over organo control and whatnot. But at the very least, he was one of those people who was like, in the very beginning when he talked to Yoshi, we had that conversation where he's like, we do have that philosophy that we want freedom, right? We are free thinkers. We are free to do whatever the fuck we want. And he followed that through to the end. Well, Hal didn't. The three grandmas, I have no idea what to think about them. First of all, we have this Japanese Zen garden kind of deal. We also see a very like white grayscale. It's not completely white and gray, but it's very, very close to it. Right, and you do see a lot of stuff being like all of the squares here and on the floor, which kind of not a neat pattern, but at the same time, it's still like everything is perfectly geometrical. You do have the curtain, which kind of partially hides the figure of like the I don't know, like the old women, I guess, right? But at the same time shows them pretty much mostly. You know, like they're saying that what he's doing is mischief, but later on they smile as if it's still something they don't disagree with necessarily, or they don't think is something they need to stop or tell him not to do. They're just telling him information, right? Governance is a normal, like, governance exists for a reason and blah, 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 and whatnot. And he's like, I'm aware of that, and they're like, are you? Which is very interesting. Especially they talk about the system of governance. I do think they like kind of, I guess, differentiate that from what he wants to do, which is like, I rule all of that shit. Kano has always been incorrigible, so you can't correct him, right? he doesn't respond to criticism or like lecturing. And his name is Kano. Okay. It's very interesting with his like 2 legs, but otherwise human body mostly. And they're just smiling. And now we have like the seer and everything. And she's talking to somebody, which I don't know. But I do feel like maybe not talking to Gabe, like to the people of Gabe, is actually part of what she sees is the solution to all of this. I don't know if she's actually rebelling against her fate or if she's just following the fate to the letter. We don't know, right? Interesting. We're going to see... She said them, right? Yeah, we're going to see them. Isn't that exciting? There's no use to reiterate. It's already been decided. So she does sound like she knows everything's just gonna happen. And this dude, like I said, very funny. This dude's like, I thought this is not how this is supposed to work. He thought this was just another like organization that wants to take control, and he can be the middleman who actually get more power through that, right? Take over, almost like he's taking over the Organo. He's playing the game, but dude, you're playing checkers. Dude's Kano's playing chess, so bro, you played the wrong game. You're on the wrong side. But again, like Hal, later on we do see him, and then it's like, I guess this is all I'm good for. But he accepts his role. So the question is he forced to do it? Or is it more of a, we're this far already, right? And I can't change anything about it anyway, so I might as well just fulfill my role. So both of that is possible, of course. The two of them talking, I really like that, because especially like in the Twilight, and we always have like the wires above them in the frame, which is really cool. Very interesting how it boxes them in. But we talk a little bit, great like out of focus shot. We talk a little bit about like what it means for him to be an Organo, and for him it is like it's just about survival. Right? Before that I did stuff to survive, and then I joined the Organo to survive, right? But for me it's just a tool, and I do not feel any loyalty to the organization. And I will betray them, right? If it suits me. If it gets me to survive. Which is very interesting, because what is survival for you? In which state would you consider yourself alive and healthy and whatnot? Would you becoming Techhnolyze be part of that? Would that be like, I'll pay any price, right? I'll replace my body as long as I can further exist. I kill everybody I used to know as long as I can further exist within my own mind, or is there like a line in the sand for you? So very interesting that we like have that out of focus shot, because it feels a lot like this is actually kind of visual storytelling, right? Because everything becomes blurry in his definition of what he's willing, like what is being alive and what am I willing to do, right, for that survival, quote unquote. And this is, this is the conclusion that we come to. Bro, what is this fucking cocoon that he's attached to? I have no idea. I have no fucking idea. But at the very least, we are absolutely in a 100, but mostly mechanical body. And I do assume the head is attached to it. First of all, because it's creepy as fuck. And second of all, because I assume they aren't able to make robotic brains. I could like maybe they want to uphold like the brain, the mind of the individual, right? Maybe there's some religious attachment to that, or maybe it's just about, right, keeping themselves, right? I wouldn't create technology to completely replace me, but at the same time, Kano isn't completely like these soldiers isn't a weapon in that sense. He's not like I don't know, like a whatchamacall-them from Cyberpunk 2077, like the big cyborg dude, right? He's not like that. He's not like, hell yeah, Chrome, I'm only Chrome, like the only thing that's organic about me is maybe my brain and only parts of that. But it's like, it's more like he is human and just has mechanical legs, but all of his subordinates, his soldiers and whatnot, they're getting completely replaced by mechanical parts except for the brain, which I guess needs oxygen to survive. So I guess maybe that cocoon is producing that oxygen or whatnot, and the nutrients that the brain needs. Either way, like, very horrifying, this whole thing. Salvation Union dude. I guess I said it earlier, right? Like, about like, if he had revealed that he's Techhnolyzed in the beginning of the movement, he wouldn't have been accepted as the leader, right? He wouldn't be the shining example and whatnot. So he had to, I guess, fake it. He had to be not completely honest in order to win the favor of his members enough so that once he reveals it, people are actually like, you know what? You've done so much for us. You're like, I've known you a long time. You're aligned with our philosophy. We believe you that you hit this for a good reason, and that this has actually, like, this is the reason why, like, your negative experiences are the reason why you want to preach to us that this is not how you're supposed to do it, right? Like, you're not supposed to be Techhnolyzed in any way, right? He's again, this is like a faction that is absolute rejection of what this technology has to offer, while Doc and Ichse are definitely in the line of like, yes, this technology is great, maybe beautiful, maybe useful, but like, absolute weaponization of individuals is not the way she wanted it to end. Beautiful shot, right? Like, half of his face in the light, the other half complete or almost completely in darkness. And we talk about these things, and I do like, one mystery has been solved where I'm like, what the fuck, right? I'm like, his mother is in there, like, is there something metaphysical and whatnot? And like, the next episode we get it answered, and it's like, she lied to him in order to make him attached to the thing so he wouldn't reject it. So it's like, oh, holy shit, dude. Holy shit. And obviously, I have no idea how he feels. Lost, betrayed, right? Because he has a certain amount of affection for her. So obviously he feels betrayed to a degree. But yeah. Interesting that in the last moments of this Union leader, we do have like this color which kind of invokes the fire in his heart, right? His like burning passion to go out for his ideals. That's how I see it, at least. And this last brilliant shot of like them shouting their mantra, which is kind of like a doctrine: soul, body, truth, salvation, vengeance, right? Like and we do see how almost like the internet, or like when you have like images of the internet across the globe, or like flight patterns or whatever, you do see the wires spanning across it, and like the buildings almost surrounding us, like they're existing at the outside of a scope, and we are on the inside looking at a strange sphere, right, of like fisheye lens ish, right? Not exactly fisheye lens, more globe lens kind of deal of environment around us, how it's spinning as well, like the world is spinning round and round. And she's absolutely devastated by her own like her predicament, but he's like, come on, get up, which I find very interesting. Now he's the one who picks her up, so I do wonder how he's gonna do that. I mean, he just said it, right? Get up and whatnot, but is he like what's the meaning and emotion behind it? What's his how is he gonna pick her up and motivate her to continue being a person, right? To continue existing in this world, basically. We do have Run stopping for the thing, and she's like, come on, let's get out, let's go. It's almost like she's talking to us, right? And we're like we were there all the time, and then just we're following along and whatnot as the audience, which is so weird. But obviously it's probably just a reveal of a person that we don't know yet, or a person we know and that's supposed to be hidden, like, right? I don't know. We'll have to see. Either way, I'll watch the next one, and after that I think I'm gonna be done for this recording session on Techhnolyze. I'm gonna jump right into the next one, just don't need to to complicate this any further. We just need to open it up here. Wait, where were we? 18, right? I don't have any more downloaded anyway, so that is perfect. You need to download more of those. Boom. Alright. A little syncy up point. Not that important, but it's cool. And then we are going to start Techhnolyze episode 18. Ooh. We're walking towards a door upstairs. It almost seems like the vision that Ichise had in like very early in the show. But that one was more symbolic. Right, somebody's... Oh no, she is beckoning somebody. Ran, this is a sinister smile you have on your face. Throne. A Techhnolyze? I'm just kidding. Ooh. It's very cool because it's almost like the monument almost seems like a light beam. Yeah, blow holes into the door. That was necessary. You could have just opened the door, my dude. Oh, I haven't seen you in a long time, my dude. Wait, what? Is this a vision he's having? It's just like he's hallucinating. Yeah, I thought so. Wait, or is it? Wait, is it? Has he been repurposed? Or is he just fucking out of... Or is he out of it? I was like, Yoshi? Wait? No, I don't know.
もう終わりよこの街は。みんなあんな化け物に変えられる。誰もどこにも逃げ場なんてない。
Doc, what are you gonna do about it? Come on.
いいのよ。頭に来てるんでしょ。置いてっていいのよ。
大西との約束だ。
Is that the reason?
今さら。義理なんて立ててるの。
Makes a difference to him. A promise doesn't end when you're dead.
そうよ、てめえらを。待ってたぜ。
Holy shit. Fucking got him. I mean, I do wonder if is there a place outside of Lucas that they could go to? Because Yoshi came from somewhere. Ran was always such a weird contrast in terms of like color from the city itself. Alright. First time we really see the monument up close, I guess. What's happening, Ran? Are you purposefully looking for a new vision, or are you... What's happening here? I guess it almost seemed like these people are zombies or something. Not them, obviously, but just like the people we saw for a second there.
奴らは女子供までには手を出していない。
Why are they not attacking women and children though? Why? Is there reason for that? Are they not being perceived as a threat, or do they have a function to keep them the way they are, undamaged and whatnot?
あれがそんな体じゃ女抱いたってちっとも面白くねえだろうにゃ。何やってんだ。たくよ。
I mean, that was another reason I was thinking, right? You lose everything that it means to be human. The pleasure, the sensations, even just like maybe not even eating food anymore and stuff like that. Alright. Burial pyre. I am very curious what he's doing. Ran just humming a fucking tune like a psychopath. I'm sorry, what? Are there two of her? Or is this just like a weird perspective shot that we just saw? That seemed weird. Maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I'm just tripping. Why can't you afford to lose the seer? If everything happens the way it's supposed to happen anyway.
体力が落ちていると稀にある。
治療を。エソが脳に達しているのなら不可能だ。
そんな。大西警護はどうした？
まだ見つかりません。
奴がいる限り分散した力をまとめられかねない。愚民どもが奴を支え始めたら面倒だ。
それには一計が、物見が町に来ているようです。
物見？
愚民を束ねる力があります。
お前は自分の未来を知りたいか？はい。くだらん。
That's your future. You're gonna be useless rubbish. No, I'm just.
ここが大西との待ち合わせ場所だったんでしょ。オルガノは亡くなったのよ。大西も。やめなさい。もう義理立ては済んだでしょ。もともとあなたはこんな世界に関係がなかったんじゃない。そう思えばいいじゃない。
Can't like fucking go back into the cave. Hello.
それしか。
バカよあなたたちは。大西もあなたも。目の前にあることしか信じられない。 目の前の怒りでしか何も表現できない。私を抱きしめてみなさい。私は不安なの。早く。もっと強く。もっと。私のテクノライズはこういう風に使うのよ。この街を出ましょう。ガベに行けばまだ生きられる場所があるかもしれない。
The interesting thing is, I do feel like so far Ichise had no part in all of that destruction, right? I mean, he couldn't have done anything against it, most certainly. And him just being involved didn't, like, causally trigger anything. Oh, holy fuck. The devastation is... Are you hearing the city talk? Ooh. He saw the women, the older ones. Ooh, Shinji. And he knows who it is, right? I still don't know what it means when he says he hears the city talk, so I don't know how useful this is gonna be. I was about to say he ain't gonna be dead. Destroyed the car, but not them. I do wonder if they think they can integrate the two of them as well, or if this is an invitation not by Kano, but by the old women. Also funny that the two of them are the ones who actually go there, right? Who are like left at this point. Back to back.
Antamo. 同じことを考えてたんだな。
来いと言ってるんだ。俺たちを入れたやつが。
と言ってねえところだな。
今は雨、雷、風。そんなものここにはありゃしない。ところで戦は勝って負けたかね。お客様の到着だ。来たね。ようやくここまで。
あなたたちだったのか。
お前は私たちの声を聞いていた。盗み聞きだよ。その足がそうさせた。
Ooh, okay.
カノは変わった。もっと愚かに。お前の卑しい足のせいで。
A bigger fool because of your cursed
すぐに
legs.
捨てちまったよ。お前の足を。カノには最初からそんなものはいらなかったのさ。
Kano.
カノの遊びを止めるのだ。
So they are not in favor.
遊びは度が過ぎる。カノはもっと広い遊び場が欲しいだけ。
もっと広い遊び場
Is this what it is for him? A game?
クラスが街を統合して復興させるとか言ってたけど。
それはあの子のわがままだ。すぐにでも上の世界に上がり、そこでわがままをしたいのだ。お前らは最初からその駒だ。上の世界に知らせるのだ。ことの急を告げるのだ。
Sound the alarm.
案内する者が待っ
Who is walking in here? Is it Kano?
ヨシってやつの言う通りだった。俺は何も知らなさすぎたんだ。こんなとこにずっと来たいと思ってたなんてな。あんたの足はもったいなかったな。あんたどうする？本当に行くのか？俺は行かない。あんたには悪いが、カノって野郎の弾は俺が取る。お前、ヨシって野郎と一緒にいたやつだろ。
お母様たちが大西を上に出し抜いたつもりですか。父を産み、それと交わり僕を産み、僕がその腹を突き破ってくればよかった。
Okay, Ron, what? Holy shit. There's so much that I don't know. Still.
あれが物見。列車が来てる。
Foot first, holy shit. And here we are again. The crew's all back together. What is blood doing on the train tracks?
暖かいところ、そんな気がしてた。クラスの人間はいつか遠い日に上がることが許される。そんなとこ現実にあるだなんて信じろって方が無理よ。
先生、上に行ってくれ。そして伝えてほしい。この町の惨状と奴の目的を。
あの男が案内するってよ。
一世、お前も先生と行け。
Is she gonna accept though?
上の人間も先生の話なら聞くと思うが、どっちにしろそこはあのヨシってやつが絶望していたところだ。一世、俺たちは狭い世界に囚われて生きてきた。
Trapped living in a small world and now we've come to this end.
お前は若い。だから見てこい。いろんなものを。
俺は行かない。俺は。
あの子のことが心配。オベリスクに人を集めている。
物見か。
あれなら奴らも手を出せないわ。
実でここで俺への義理はチャラだ。
Give you your free will. I mean, he had that before. What is he doing there? Who did he kill? The 3 women, of course. But they put out their warning, so if somebody, one of them goes upstairs. The question is, you burn the whole world down, who are you gonna have as an ally? Because he's doing that right now. Even he will get to the limits of what he can do, right? The limits of what he can do without facing the consequences. Because even if nobody holds him accountable, there's gonna be repercussions of that anyway. Kano, I mean, of course. Alright, let's run it back. So, as always, when things are in chaos, it's a little bit harder to understand what's actually happening. But as things settle down, as always, as like the action dies down to people moving in certain ways, as people have died and things have happened, right? And people are at different places now. We have more clarity of some things, not of all of them, right? We keep building mysteries as we answer old questions, right? But that's the thing about like a gripping, interesting narrative. You need to walk that tightrope. Again, I don't know who Ran is gesturing, right? It was like come with me and whatnot. She has like that sinister smile on her face, as if she wants to see the whole world burn. I'm like, I don't know. What do you have in mind? All that conflict and whatnot. It's very interesting how he's in the shadow and he's looking at the light and then seeing Yoshi. I'm like, is that Yoshi who's been repurposed, or is it actually just like a soldier and he's been hallucinating and like out of it? Because both is possible, right? He's like, I made a promise to Onishi to take care of you, and he's like, well, what does it help? He might even be dead. And then we're kind of like contemplating, what is it about a promise that's important? Like, if somebody dies, the promise is still important if it's important to you, right? Emotionally, personally, even if it doesn't mean anything to the person anymore that you made the promise to. Interesting how we don't show the face here, right? Just the mouth and her looking up at the monument the first time we really see it. And then suddenly the eye flashes like in kind of like some vibration and people are being called to her. Didn't know she had that power, but okay, good to know. Good to fucking know. I do wonder if Onishi has like felt that, or if that was more of a thing, her just addressing specific people. Hal is getting like a burial by fire together with the headquarters, right? So he's saying goodbye to the Rakan at the same time as saying goodbye to probably one of his best friends. This shot, I need to look at that again. Let me just, right? Because we pan over from Ran and we are holding the same shot of Ran looking at the monument, right? Like, you do see that, right? Ran comes in the frame, she's looking up at the monument. Monument pans over, there's no switch in the camera, like it's the same shot basically. Ran is here on the other side again and looking. So it needs to, there's two Ran, right? Like, or am I wrong and this is just some trippy shit? There's two Ran. Seemingly. Or maybe like let me reanalyze this. No, here she's wearing the mask and in the other one she's like, or this is some supposed to be some kind of like metaphor for time passing, but I don't think so. Like they would show it differently. Again, I said my piece about him like not losing the serum, like awfully concerned about the future for somebody who has the future set in stone. Splitting hairs. Hopeless if the gangrene has already reached your brain. And he's concerned about Onishi bringing together the scattered forces. It will be troublesome if the ignorant masses start up supporting him. I may have a plan. It's been reported that the seer is in the city. She has the power to bring together the ignorant masses. Like, do you want to know your future? Yes. Useless rubbish. Because he doesn't believe in in future telling. He says he makes his own fate, maybe. Or maybe he has been told a terrible or bad future that he doesn't want, and he's rejecting that, right? In a way. But also I find it very interesting that they might want to plan something with Ran. So are they projecting visions of the future to Ran in order to make things happen in a certain way, to like influence Gabe, or instrumentalizing her, or is it more of a, like, if she brings people together anyway, if she plans to, but how would they know that, right? Like, that she's calling to people. Very interesting how she's like, you don't need to have anything to do with all of this shit. You can just go back to who you were before, but he's like, who I was before that I was lost, right? I didn't know who I was. I was like just pure emotion and turmoil. How do you, like the famous, like I don't know how you call it, like the Plato's cave allegory. It's like, when you take the people out of the cave and they actually see the real world, don't think you can put them back into the cave, right? This is like a Pandora's box kind of deal. This is like not possible. Because he's seen things, he started asking questions, he started thinking about things. He can't just unthink them. It's like, this is all I have, and she's giving him an alternative, right? He's like, I can give you something to have. It's something to hold on to, something to care about. That is not all of this blood and violence and loyalty to the Organo and loyalty to Nishi. Which is like, maybe we survive in Gabe. It's like, maybe you don't. I mean, she definitely has affection for him, but she's also refocusing him, right? Because he has affection for her as well. Onishi 3 or 4 times almost not surviving that. Very ironic that Shinji and Onishi are both getting into this elevator. Look at this shot setting, right? The frames, right? How we like open that up, and then we have like the back-to-back with like the window in the middle. There could be nothing, but the window in the middle makes this shot very special. Right? The quick look to the pistol, the sliding open door, like the symmetrical frames, the 3, right, like the row of 3 like old women. You know, like he wants a bigger playground. He's just like a big child who just wants to rule the world, basically. That's their perspective on it. If that's true, we don't know. But it's like, he's out of control. You need to warn the people above, and now we bring the people above in, where it's like there is a world beyond the little world Lucas and the class that we live in here, that I guess Kano is supposed to go to eventually, but he wants that quickly, and he wants to take control there as well, right? So he's like power hungry, I guess. He is like uncontrolled and like a child or a teenager who just wants everything. The way he's designed, the way he looks to me, it kind of gives arrogance, right? and ruthlessness. That's what comes across here. But he's playing his game, definitely, and there is things that are happening that is design. The question is, how far can he actually do it? Because obviously he responds to everything that's happening in a way that he thinks will turn out for him to be like the ruler of this, like the de facto ruler of all of this, or like get his will, whatever goals he has ultimately. But the question is it gonna pan out the way he wants to? Because like, even though we do get the feeling, and we get that feeling multiple times in the series, there's somebody who's introduced who's like knows more than the rest of people, right? And knows more than the audience. And so we're like, okay, maybe he has it all figured out, right? And the grand plan, and we're gonna get it revealed. And eventually, though, there's a point where the facade cracks and we find out they're a human being after all, right? So we keep up building up gods, basically, or we keep up building up like these nearly omnipotent or omniscient figures that are then taken down by the reality of the world, right? And so, and before that, obviously, we see the cracks in the facade appearing. That happened to Yoshi before, it happened to Onishi, right? From our perspective as the audience, and it happening to Kano as well, right? So it's very interesting. It's like Ichise doesn't want to go up, but Onishi's like, I would like for you to do that, because even beyond just warning people up there, as we have been told to please do, there's also the aspect of, you're still young, you have a lot of your life ahead of you. I would like for you to live a life that is worth living for you. Although he says, like, with the great caveat of this world up above, it seemingly, from my perspective, it drove Yoshi mad. So I don't know if that's actually going to be the end result then, that you're happy up there. But maybe you can find something. And Doc is obviously properly reading it. She's being like, are you worried about Ran? I don't know how he's going to reassure him, but I guess like Onishi could be like, we make sure that Ran is safe, as like, obviously he can't promise that at this point because he himself is kind of in big trouble. But I don't know. I mean, Doc definitely wants that. She would like for Ichise to survive. And I guess in a way Ichise is her main reason for living. He's her masterpiece, but also somebody she's close to. Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. Very cool episode and all that. As we're going into the final, I guess, 4 episodes of the show. We're 18 now, and there's like 22 episodes. Very, very strange, very weird that we only have potentially like 4 weeks for Techhnolyze, and then it's all over. It's all gone. And obviously after that, it's gonna be all Monster again, but we might eventually, after a couple of months, go in and find something else that we put into the rotation. Depends how much I'm enjoying Monster as like a regular weekly thing, or if I want to bring some spice into it eventually. Obviously Monster were also pretty far, so at some point in time that's gonna be done as well, but Monster is still a lot of episodes to go, so we have plenty of time to just enjoy Monster on its own, and then at some point in time maybe spice something else into that like slot. And I think that is also partially determined of how popular a series is, because I feel like I use the Monster and Techhnolyze slot at this point in time for series that I personally like, that people suggested and wanted, like patrons and whatnot, but also that I personally find super interesting and very cool to analyze and all of that, but that doesn't find as much reception with people on YouTube as compared to a Monogatari or an Arcane that has like mass appeal, which I do try to find at least one series that has an appeal, at least on the level of like a Bocce the Rock or like a Monogatari, like I said, where, I don't know, like a couple hundred people at least watch every week, so. But yeah, that's been Techhnolyze episode 18. I hope you enjoyed that. like and subscribe if you haven't already, but probably as you are watching Techhnolyze, you are probably a subscriber and maybe even a patron. So thanks for watching, thanks for supporting and all of that stuff. Keep commenting down below if you have interesting stuff. I don't get a lot of comments of stuff like Techhnolyze or Monster or whatever. I'm always happy to read something on that. People being just like with their own thoughts and have their own opinions on stuff, and always love to read it. And I'll see you next time.